What do you think of modern authors like James Davison Hunter, Russell Moore, and Rod Dreher, who criticize evangelicals for selling out to the Republican Party or contaminating their testimony with politics?
Yeah, I'd say you can't really have it both ways. You can't be culturally engaged without coming into contact with what you're engaged with, right? And so these writers would all be in favor of cultural engagement, but it's like saying to your lineman, if you're a football coach, now I want you to go in there and block and tackle, but don't touch anybody. Well, what, now of course, I don't want a culturally engaged church that sells out to the Republican Party, right? I want to get the Republican Party to sell out to us, right? So it's not that, but as long as you have limited, minced objectives, which these people do. Davison Hunter's book is on faithful presence, right? Faithful presence that never actually accomplishes the whole deal, right? Never seals the deal. But that just means that you're always perpetually in a position of having the weak hand. You're engaged, you're coming in contact with, but you never, it's not transformational. If it's like getting into a quagmire. So I would argue that these thinkers are in effect arguing for quagmire culture wars, where when we went into Vietnam, we forgot that one of the objectives of principles of war is the objective, and the objective is victory, right? You're supposed to win the war and be done, as opposed to setting up a perpetual state of affairs where the Republican Party is always there being them, and we're always here being us. Well, do we touch them or not? Right? Now, as a transformationalist, I believe that we need to risk coming into contact with adversaries, foes, co-belligerents, allies, right? But that's because there's a defined objective, which is victory. If you're not going to go for victory, I think the Amish or Anabaptist or Mennonite solution is more coherent, where you simply try to detach and keep yourself clean.
So I'm thinking of the different places where you'd come into engagement. So let's say film. Let's say you have the chance to enter into Hollywood to actually produce something. What parameters would you put around what you would be willing to do, how you would be willing to participate with others, and where you would say, no, I won't do that? Right. And would it be roughly parallel to what you would do if you were ended up in D.C., voted into office, or in a position where you had a chance to interact with lawmakers?
The thing that's a little different, Hollywood is different than D.C. in that if you get a Christian elected to Congress or to the Senate, it all comes down to them voting, and they do good stuff or bad. They introduce good bills or bad bills, and they can write it all by themselves. They can give a speech all by themselves. Their vote is a standalone vote. But when you make a movie, you're dealing with an industry that's a guild industry. It's not a solitary painter in his studio painting, or the novelist in his study writing, and then presto Moby Dick, or presto Huckleberry Finn. With movie making, it's a guild operation, which means that you're dealing with hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people. The Screen Actors Guild, laws, regulations, unions. You've got this, in order to produce a recognizable product called a movie at the end, it's got to be done in this particular way. So I would encourage Christians who have a story to tell. Having great cameras won't teach you how to tell a story. So I would encourage Christians who want to make movies, who want to enter into that world, to do it outside the system. I think the technology is decentralized to the point where good equipment can be obtained anywhere, and you can go to places where you're not going to be dealing with the system rigged against you, and then it will be like being a congressman or a
So
senator.
it's possible to create an alternative market in media, whereas you can't create an alternative government structure.
Correct. Not without the feds coming after. Not without someone
We
interested
figured
in
out yet, yeah. Okay.
someone. Yeah.
But how do you how do you handle something like sitting there, kind of wanting to cheer Trump on, and also being a bit creeped out? How do you balance something like that?
Yeah, I'm reading a book now called The Case for Trump by Victor David Hansen, and he used a metaphor that I found enormously helpful, and that is he says that Trump is chemotherapy. So Trump is toxic. When you give someone chemo, you're poisoning the person, you're poisoning the patient in the pious wish that you kill the cancer before you kill the patient. Mm-hmm. But you're poisoning the person, right? And Hansen grants that Trump is toxic for all kinds of reasons, but he's toxic. His toxicity is not what's killing us. The cancer that's killing us is the deep state, the administrative state, the way things are normally done, the normal respectability, and his brand of toxicity is going after that. So basically, I don't have any problem saying cheering that on, but I don't want to. What I don't want to do is cheer it on in a way that tells lies. So I have a problem with the evangelical leaders who say Trump is God's man for the hour, and Trump is our choice for Sunday school superintendent, and Trump is going to be on our elder session after he's done being president. That's just ludicrous. You know, everybody can see what kind of man Trump is, and so don't tell lies. Don't varnish the truth. But because I'm not going to tell lies, I won't lie. I like what he's doing.
Yeah.